Yo, what is going on everyone? Guiding Light here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how it is that you can unlock Ultimate Viessa. Now, Ultimate Viessa is by far one of the best characters in the game. Now, you have to be prepared for what you're getting yourself into with this grind. Now, Ultimate Viessa, she is a great character for AoE damage, great character for staying alive, and just overall in the game. But if you're trying to find a character that's just going to destroy bosses in 10 to 20 seconds, there's better characters out there for that. However, Viessa offers some of the best mobility in the game, one of the fastest characters when statted out correctly, and overall will be able to clear out rooms and enemies just as fast as a character like Bunny. So it's obviously pretty great to play as, and I've been enjoying her way more than almost any other descendant in the game. So very quickly, I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can unlock Ultimate Viessa, the best routes, and what missions you want to do. Now, the first part is going to be these enhanced cells. This is going to be by far the easiest piece that you can unlock for Viessa. Now, in order to get started on this, all you have to do is the Executioner boss. Now, you definitely don't want to go into Pyro or Frostwalker for this, so you're going to do Executioner. And in order to do this, you actually have to just run the Magister Lab mission. Now, this mission's extremely fast because it's in Kingston, but you just have to make sure that you do run it on hard. So you're going to come up to this terminal here and you just start up this mission. Every time you complete it, you're going to get the amorphous material. And if you get enough points, you sometimes can actually get 2 amorphous each and every time that you run it. So this is the one that drops for Ultimate Viessa. Now, once you get these material, you will want to run the hard executioner boss. Now, this actually does not take very long, and you can get it through it pretty quickly. You just want to make sure you have that green check mark there, which says that you have the material. Another thing to keep in mind is when you do finish the boss, you do have to make sure you use the material in the boss fight, otherwise you won't get the drop at all. So just make sure every time you run the boss, you're using this and activating it. So you may not get it the first try, but you will have to do it again and again until you eventually do get it. After that, you will need the stabilizer. In order to unlock this, there's a few different routes you can take, depending on the characters you have unlocked. So the easiest way is to go and do the Void Fusion Reactor. But in order to do this, you will need Sharon unlocked. So if you don't have Sharon, you'll actually want to go and do the common swamp walker boss. But that is a 3% drop rate at the swamp walker boss, so you're going to have to do it way more times than this. So the easiest and fastest way is to use Sharon and go over here to the desert area. You're going to run these missions here where you go in stealth to attempt to getting amorphous material. Now, this is by far one of the hardest missions to complete, and if you have a friend, I would highly suggest trying to get them to come in with you. The only reason why it's so difficult is because the boss fight for this mission is extremely difficult to complete on a low level character. Now, a lot of people probably don't have their Sharons completely built up. They just use them for these missions as of right now because they don't want to waste resources on them. So it can make the boss really, really difficult to take out due to the fact that you don't have a lot of defense. So if you can bring a friend along with you, it definitely makes this a lot easier. Now, you can definitely still solo this boss, but just keep in mind before going in that you will want to bring your best weapon with you to make sure that you can actually take the boss down. Another thing to keep in mind when farming this is that you're not even guaranteed the material each and every time. So you are going to be stuck running this mission a minimum of, 10, 20 times. And so it may be better just to go and do the common swamp walker. It's only a 3% drop chance in that mission, but at the same time, both of these methods are going to take a while and it's going to be kind of luck based whether you get this part or not. This is definitely by far like the hardest part to get. And as you can see with this mission, with a teammate, it's completely fine. It's not a problem. But going in solo with the boss and his overshields, it's definitely a bit more challenging. So both routes are a little annoying for this part. The fusion reactor is a bit faster, especially if you have a friend or a fully built up character. But if you don't, just go into the common swamp walker. So after running this mission a few times, you should get the amorphous material to drop. I believe it's number 91. Once you have it, you'll just go to the mission. It's right next to this. It actually makes farming it quite easy. There's a void fusion reactor located right here next to the mission. Now, the only thing with this is that you're also going to need void shards to start this up. As you can see, it says the green check mark on amorphous material 91. The only thing is in order to receive the rewards, you will also need void shards. Now, luckily, you can get the void shards at that void fragment that's located right next to this mission, but you will also need a solar character to do that. So this part requires 3 different descendants. You need a solar descendant, you need Sharon, and so it can be extremely annoying to go this route. If you don't have all of these unlocks, you will have to go through the common swamp walker or grab a friend to run this with you. But as you can see there, if you don't have the fragments, you won't receive any rewards after running this boss fight. The fragments are extremely easy to get, but you will need a solar character or wait until somebody else is around that starts it up for you. So it can make this part extremely annoying. There's like 5 or 6 different steps involved. You need 3 or 4 things unlocked. And so that's why running the common Swamp Walker, as frustrating as it can be with a 3% drop rate, may be better off just going with that if you aren't already specced out on all of these characters. Now, after this, you're going to have to go after the Spiral Catalyst. Now, unfortunately, with the Spiral Catalyst, it's also a little difficult because you cannot go with the boss route method, meaning you will need Sharon in order to even get this part at all. So if you look here, it says there's 3 different Void Fusion Reactors you can go to. Now, you have to follow the same process where you use Sharon, go invisible, and run these missions multiple times until you receive the amorphous material. Once you have the amorphous material, you'll have to then bring it to the Void Fusion Reactor, which is located right next to this mission, the same way we just ran for the other part. So it's another one of those parts that has 3 different steps involved and requires quite a few unlocks in order to do. And so it's definitely going to take you probably the longest out of any of the parts. Now, after that, you're only left with the blueprint or the code at the very bottom. This blueprint is again going to be a little annoying. You can either run the common mission, which is going to be a 3% drop rate. You can go into the Molten Fortress, which nowadays is actually a lot easier with people knowing the mechanics. So you may actually want to just go the Molten Fortress route if you're confident you can do the boss. Or you can go into this Void Fusion Reactor and follow those same steps again with Sharon. Now, if you don't have Sharon, you're going to have no choice but to either do this 3% drop rate mission where you run this operation multiple times and take it into the boss, or you can try your luck at Molten Fortress. Molten Fortress is by far your best drop rate, but you're taking your chance at your teammates and just even whether or not you're even going to defeat the boss. So it's kind of crazy that this is by far one of the hardest descendants to unlock, but I think it's well worth it once you do unlock it. Now it's up to you whether or not you want to go through and do all this, but that's definitely going to be one of the only ways you can unlock this descendant. Now, with only a week left until the update and another ultimate descendant, ultimate Viessa coming out next week, or I'm sorry, Ultimate Balbi coming out next week. And then we also have another Descendant Luna coming out. And not only that, but the Transcendent mods for Ultimate Viessa are extremely hard to get. You can only get them as a drop from Molten, or not Molten Fortress, but you can only get them as a drop from Frostwalker. So even if you want to get the best build possible on Ultimate Viessa, you would then have to grind out the Frostwalker boss multiple times, sometimes up to 20 and 30 times in order to get that Transcendent mod. And so with all that being said, as much as Ultimate Viessa is by far the best character, she's one of the longest and hardest people to unlock. And then after you unlock her, if you want to get the best build for her, it's going to take you even longer to get that drop because you have to do Frostwalker so many times. So over time, it'll become so much easier. We'll probably become so strong that you can go into Frostwalker and knock it down in like 30 seconds. But as of right now, it's by far the hardest build to make. And so just keep that in mind before maybe starting this entire long process of unlocking it. Now, hopefully this helps you out, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.